Pull up a chair. This is Fluxtaposed, episode 223, recorded on August 7th, 2018. On the docket today, IRL Netflixation of The Voices. Get caught up on What You Playing, featuring It and Deus Ex Human Revolution. Maybe we'll talk about some zombies and why they taste like dust. And finally, we'll close out the show with the community grab bag and the sweet awkward finish. Adam Leonard, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. Adam Leonard. Welcome back to Fluxtaposed. I am still feeling those vacation vibes, but I'm happy to be back. I am one of your hosts. I am Jason Lacey. Don't call it a return from vacation. Throw a hashtag in front of it and you have a beautiful experience. I'm here with my best buddy, whole wide world, Lucas Rose.
Hey, dude. You're looking good. You're looking very relaxed. Almost too relaxed.
I'm like so chill, brah. Like... sun's out still, you know. Look at it. Look at the solar flare right here on my left ankle.
It is a solar flare. You should look directly into it. Would you please?
It's all right. I got my future so bright. I got my shades on. Just.
But are you throwing shade?
You know, we'll probably get to that. Welcome to the show. You know, first of all, well done, sir. I had the joy of listening to last week's episode today. You and Mr. Kevin Austin.
Oh.
Kevin, thank you. Kevin, thank you. Thank you for stepping in, doing some heavy lifting so
Yes.
Lucas can do all the magic behind the scenes work.
Did you like
appreciate that.
Did you like how at the very beginning Cody just immediately started barking? That makes for a good intro.
Well, I personally felt good because I'm like, you know, there's not a whole lot to do where we were at late at night, at that time at night. So I was like, I'll just watch the show.
Yeah,
and that was the one point when my LTE was magically working. The rest of the trip it didn't, and then I forgot that I could shut that off. So when I finally realized that and switched to 3G, I could actually use my phone for things.
So it was struggling to maintain LTE connection.
Like I was using I would do a speed test. I have the speed test app, and I would, like, the first night I was getting like 6 megs, like 6 megasecond. And I was like, that's pretty good for how remote Michigan we were at. And then I was like, sweet, I want to be able to play the Switch. And then I tried it again. I was like, this is weird. And I did another speed test. 0.025 megabits per second.
Everyone woke up and got on the same one cell tower.
Yeah, that's no good. So I was able to catch that, and first of all, I felt good because I was like, oh yes, I'm not on the show and still can't start on time. It's not just me. And then there was a problem and you had to restart the stream. I was like, yes, it's not just
it's
me.
all me.
But I happened to catch it right as you guys started, and yeah, Cody's just like, I was like, this is great. This is what our podcast is all about.
Pretty much, in a nutshell.
I do have to say it is kind of fishy that Kevin came on and then he won the giveaway.
Yeah, he rigged it. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, as the stream god, the stream whisperer himself, Riboflavins would say, exclamation point rigged. That is, he's been known to throw that around chats and giveaways, and I think it still applies to this specific event. But still, Kevin, great. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for not ruining the show. You were able to get through. You got that monkey off your back. You had a successful episode of Fluxtaposed. Congratulations.
He did a good. He did a
You're
good.
the first
Jason.
one of us. The first one of us to have a successful episode of Fluxtaposed. Very good. Very good job.
He did good.
You did good.
Fun. It was fun.
You did good, Rock. Get at him.
Kind of sound like a mix between Rock's. What's his name? Well, his trainer, anyways. Trainer McTrainey, and
Jobber McJobberson.
Yeah, and somebody from Team America World Police. Bring it down. Bring
That's
it
right.
on.
When I was driving to go vote today, I was like, I just started because I was streaming last night, and I midstream I started doing a little Sean, Capri Sean, chat is. So I was like, I'll do a little Yoda for Sean while he's in the chat. And then I started thinking, Yoda, you start talking Yoda a little bit, and you usually can go into Kermit the Frog.
Frog here.
And then I was like, when you do the Kermit reporter voice, you get the Kermit the Frog here. You get a little, you keep going with. If you go with it a little bit, just stay with me. You go with it a little bit, and you get a little James Stewart. Yeah.
Oh, James Stewart. I thought you were going
every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
And then you kind of flow into George Lucas there, because it's getting a little close to that territory as well. Sucking an egg.
It's all connected. Worlds are colliding, man.
We're all connected, man. It's like we're all part of this one big thing, and we're in it together.
Yeah,
etc.
Yeah. So there you go. That's it. Again, thanks again, Kevin. Congratulations. I hope I'm assuming he might get that this week. The shipping isn't usually too far behind.
No, here's an update on that applies to one person.
I take that back.
Dude, the Printful is kind of meh. It's the service we use because they will do like one-off printings. And I looked on there. I don't know if they sent me a thing. I don't think they sent me an email about it, but they are restocking that particular shirt.
Oh gosh, so we gotta wait for it.
Yeah, because I put that order in on the 1st, and it's the 7th now. So
any other fellow podcasters out there, other content creators that have their own merch stuff, let's chat. Let's talk about what you're using, because Printful's been okay. But
it's literally the only one we've ever used.
Yeah,
so
it's the only one we've ever used.
Maybe this isn't as much of an issue as some other people have. I don't know.
Yeah, so let's talk. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. But that's not topic for podcast. Lucas, it's great to be back. I miss you, my friend. I hope you're doing well.
I'm not, but thank you.
Okay, well, I heard that. I unfortunately I did see that. I was hoping to play Mario Kart with you guys, and it didn't work out. Then I saw that. Well, I don't want to steal that. I don't want to steal your thunder. So
do you want me just?
Let's just go into it. Let's do some IRL. While you're doing that, I brought with me to the stream for you beer enthusiasts out there, this little gem we'd like to call Zombie Dust. This is made by 3 Floyds, and this is supposed to be the beer. This is like one of the holy gems of beer. I'm told.
You're saying that should be number 1 on the Battle of the Beer board.
I don't know if it should be pretty high out there. Ribo's in the chat. Hey Ribo. I'm told that it's supposed to be pretty darn good. Fun fact, how did you phrase it last week? The tap the crad pound cased.
Oh God.
I don't know how you butchered the tap the crab.
Yeah, I said something ridiculous.
It came up in conversation there, so I thought this would be a perfect time to sample this. I want to point out I have this lovely. I don't know if it'll show up on stream. I got this glass from my brother. This is my wedding gift for my brother, my groomsman gift for my brother in his wedding. He gave me an Overwatch glass.
Might have to change that over to Paladins.
I know, too bad it's not Paladins. Aaron Doherty's in the chat. Mr. Aaron, you are. I'm not sure if your Nasty Boots is up early or staying up late. He says I'm cool now. I don't know. I never forget being cool.
You've been cool since we've gone to school.
I was happy enough to receive this from one of my brother's friends. Actually, hooked me up with this bottle during the wedding. So, yeah.
Did he have to hide it in a certain secret area?
Nah, he just brought it to me during the reception.
Oh, he was just like, here you go.
Dude, it was in Sheridan,
Oh yeah, nobody gives a crap there.
I mean, for being it's an older, but I mean it looks good. It's got a good color, nice head. Sorry, listeners, that doesn't do you any good, but
it's got good color and good head.
Go to youtube.com/Fluxtaposed. Check out the on-demand video. It'll be good for you, Lucas. I mean, I need to know what happened, man. I saw the update in Discord. I feel bad for you already because I thought we were getting past this. I thought this was done. I didn't think this was going to happen again.
Yeah, I thought so too. So, the first thing I'll get to is this kind of all ties together. So, we had a day out with my mom and my wife and my son.
That's a good beer. Confirm. It's good
It's
beer.
good. I like it.
It's good. It's good.
And I'm glad you like it. And so we were out on the town, as it were, pretty much all day. And so we stopped and got food, and I didn't eat a very good breakfast. And all this culminates into the fact that I forgot that we're also doing the Drunk Mario Kart stream or whatever. So I was like, oh, I gotta stop and get something for that and to drink. And so we were playing Mario Kart, and I think it started around 9:30.
Yeah, 9:30. You guys, I think we're kicking it off.
And by about 10:45, I started to feel a familiar feeling, and I was like, "Oh, please don't be that." I think it was about 11. I was like, "I can't play anymore."
So you knew ahead of time this was coming.
Yep, felt exactly the same as last time. I had a gallbladder attack around Christmas because I ate too much fatty food, basically. And the thing that was the same thing was in common here as last time is that I also was drinking at the time. Although last time it was beer, this time it was rum. But basically, being out and having ate pulled pork and the French fries, which I'm pretty sure did me in because basically, I hope nobody's eating, but basically when I yacked, it was like undigested French fries the whole time. Which is weird because I ate popcorn on top of that because I wasn't hungry. No, I wasn't hungry. So we ate lunch and we had the sandwich and fries. And then come 6 o'clock, I was like, well, I'm not really that hungry, so I'm just gonna eat some popcorn. And so I mean that's like 6 hours later. Actually, well, we ate at 1, so 5 hours later, I ate popcorn, and that didn't come back up. It was these fries. So I'm not sure what the heck happened, but needless to say, I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning with stabbing pain. This one lasted longer. I threw up, which I didn't do last time. I slowly felt better after I made myself kind of throw up. I was starting to feel ill. But here's the weird thing, though. It wasn't a stomach thing, though. I didn't feel like my stomach wasn't churning. I didn't feel like I was sick to my stomach. It was more like a muscle reaction of throwing up. So I don't know. It was really weird, but it felt horrible. And needless to say, after that, I didn't go to the emergency room. I did feel better by 2 o'clock and was able to go to sleep. Thankfully, I was able to sleep in the next day to a certain degree.
Yeah, that's good.
And now, it just feels it feels the same as it did last time, where it's just a little bit like weird feeling in my abdomen in that little area. But I've ate and nothing's happened. Now, to bring this all back around, of course, nothing makes you want to get back into shape more than basically being in terrible pain and throwing up because you're hurting so bad.
Right.
So, that said, I have been kind of lax on my diet here. I haven't been, I say diet, on my calorie restricted diet. And I hadn't been logging my food, which is a big thing because I knew as soon as I stopped doing that, then it was going to go downhill.
I haven't either. I took like a break for about a week.
Yeah. And some people can do that. I cannot. I'm kind of an all or nothing person. And as soon as the rails go off, I'm just like, well, fuck it, apparently. So slowly I was drinking more beer every night. And slowly I was eating closer and closer to my time cutoff. And then, eating at night again and stuff like that. So this probably was not just this one time. This was probably a build-up for what has been happening in the last probably month. Basically, since I did the hardwood floors. Once that happened, everything went out the window because that kind of made me stop being good about what I was doing for a week. So, this was probably working its way up to this point and just came to a head when because I've had pizza, I've had French fries. It's just like
I also have had pizza, and it was amazing for like the first time in 3 months. It was actually no, it wasn't. It wasn't good at all. It was very subpar pizza.
Oh, that's too
Very
bad.
subpar.
But even
Yeah.
subpar pizza is still pizza,
No.
and that's some. Oh,
No.
okay.
I
Is
would
it?
rather not had it at all. It
Wow.
just wasn't. It just wasn't worth the punishment to my temple. You know, I desecrated the temple that is this body.
I can't
All
remember
right.
who wrote this on Twitter, but have you seen that quote from the person I can't remember that says, "My body is a temple, but it's like one of those temples in India where they let the monkeys shit all over the place." I think it was Andy Richter. But I'm like,
Love it.
yeah, that describes me pretty well. So all that to say, I am now eating healthier again, obviously, because I'm deathly afraid of being in that amount of pain again. And I've started working out, which before, this is a big thing because I hadn't been working out even when I started getting healthy after the first one at Christmas. I just never started working out. I just did my diet and everything was working out good. So, but I want to get off my blood pressure medication that I haven't been taking anyway. So I need to I need to get moving. So I'm doing the T25 thing, and I signed up for Beachbody On Demand because it's just easier for me to do it at home. And I figured, you know what? Why pay, $100 to do one program when I can pay $8,000 over the course of 3 years to do this. So
Yeah.
I just figured my excuses were things like, well, I can't work out in the basement because I can't lift my arms over my head, or things like that. And I'm just like, that really doesn't need to stop me from working out in some manner.
You can't. You always, if you keep letting like excuses like that always come to the forefront, you'll never do anything.
Yep, exactly. And so, and then
pro tip. That's my first pro tip of the night.
You want to get guns like this? You gotta stop making excuses. Ooh.
I don't want to intimidate the stream.
No, you shouldn't.
I don't have my concealed weapon permit, so you gotta keep them. You
gotta keep them out.
You gotta keep them. Yeah.
Loose, oiled up. So that circles back around to what we were doing originally, and basically that was just Isaac's first train ride. If you're friends with me on Facebook, then you'll see how excited he was to go on his little adventure, and he had a good time.
Were you streaming? Come on, ride the train
and ride. No, I should have been, but unfortunately I was not. But I did take video because those things need to be remembered. Why experience them when you can just be looking at it through your lens finder, or in this case, your camera screen or your phone screen. But no, I didn't really do that. We took some pictures and a little bit of video, but for the most part, we just enjoyed ourselves, and it was a fun little 90-minute round trip. We didn't go very far, actually.
No, that's fine though, because he didn't care, right? I mean, it's just this is a train, and I'm on the train, and this is the thing.
And he had a good old time. It was like something from the TV that came to life, for him. So he had a really great time. Now on this, I bring this up not just because I want to tell you guys that my son went on a train ride, but because now there were those parents there. Now, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter.
Some of those Jason Lacey parent types.
Yes, a-holes, in other words.
Tell me more.
I'm just kidding. So it doesn't matter what those parents are, but everyone knows those parents, right? It doesn't matter what the description is, what happens. There's always those parents, and they're the parents that are close to you in age or in your kid's age, in which they are kind of at the same place in your life, and you can't help but compare yourself to them when you're in the same setting like that. And so their kid was not I think they thought he was going to be having more fun than he really was. He seemed to be more interested in watching whatever was on his tablet, or I think they said something about Peppa Pig or something like that. And I understand. You never know what's going on in another family's life and how things are going for them that day, because this is something you plan. Like, if your kid's having a bad day, it's not like you're going to go, well, I guess we just spent $40 to go do this, and you're not feeling like doing it. So let's just
put on a little Daniel powder, and you feel so much better.
So the thing that kind of drove it home for me was, the dad says, this kid's screaming, and the dad says, if you don't quit screaming, they're gonna come kick you off the train for being bad. And I'm just like, that's really just like you don't want to parent your kid, so you're just going to say that some stranger is going to kick you off the train instead of like owning it yourself. I don't know. It just seemed weird. But like I said, I can't. It's just those thoughts that come to you in the moment, and I can't really say that I mean that, but it is a thought that I had. I'm just like, it's a really weird thing to say to your kid. They're just going to be afraid of everyone because they're going to think that, you know, if they act a certain way, they're going to get yelled at from some stranger or something. I just thought it was really weird. If you don't knock it off, you're going to get kicked off the train and we'll have to leave you here.
It's almost as good as that dude at the park. You're too dumb to get onto that swing.
Yes, thankfully nothing like that was happening. So, yeah, that was just one of those things where you're just like, I hope I hope I'm never perceived this way, but you know you are. There's always somebody above you who's thinking, oh geez, you're gonna let your kid do that, or you're wearing that, or you just said that to your wife or whatever, and it's just because you can't put yourself in their shoes. You don't know what's going on in their life. But that won't keep me from judging them silently, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Screw it.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's our God-given right as warm-blooded Americans.
That's right.
You know.
So
that's what we do here.
Jason, I want to know, what the hell have you been doing in the last week? Because you were gone.
Yeah, I was gone.
All broke loose.
Monday night we left after work. Stayed at my in-laws, which was time to play Paladins. And then Tuesday vacation started, and this is pretty much our yearly trip we've been taking. We go to visit my wife's family in scenic, rustic yet beautiful Rogers City, Michigan, which is about as far northeast as you can go in the Lower Peninsula. It's on the shores of the majestic Lake Huron in northern Michigan, and it's a smallish town, but it's just nice to get away. Northern Michigan, it just feels different, a little slower paced. It's slightly remote, yes. So why it kind of stunk to not be able to, like, for instance, I was hoping I could at least watch some YouTube. I was hoping I could at least watch Bobby's Return if we ran Nintendo, maybe even join in via mobile, but none of those were an option because I couldn't get the wireless issue. The mobile issue worked out.
Yeah, that's
but while at the same time though, it's a blessing because you're just disconnected. It just forces you to, like, I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on Discord, I'm not dealing with work. It was just to unplug from all that stuff.
I can envy that to a certain degree because I was just trying to play games earlier today and it was like my phone was blowing up and I use it to watch Isaac while he's napping. So it's like I gotta pick it up and then get out of that app and then see who messaged me, one of which was you mother effer.
I did. I bring in the chat. Cal is here. He wants to know if I'm hiding the red eyes behind these sunglasses. Cal, you weren't here for the start. I'm just still in vacation mode, dude. I'm just feeling the vibe,
He can't stop.
Chill vibes still, just letting it ride,
He can't stop.
Plus, I'm just desperate for subs, whatever it takes. Look at, I'm showing skin here. I'm looking fresh. I'm bringing in. I'm ready to stream some Fortnite. That's what it looks like here. Yeah. But yeah, it was just great to get away and hang out and do that. Spend probably the most time I've been able to spend with my son consecutively since like Christmas. It feels like because of me working and with this sleeping and stuff like that. It doesn't happen. But it was great to spend time with him and my wife and walk the dogs a lot. Excuse me, my wife. And
running that joke into the ground.
Oh God, always. And, it just didn't do a whole lot. I thought I was going to play the Switch a lot, and I didn't. I played just a little bit of Octopath, and I read a bit, which I'll touch on that once we get to what you're playing. It was weird. Now I do have to bring up. It was a great trip though, great time. I took Aiden on his first carnival rides. If you follow me on social media, you probably saw that on my Instagram. We took him on a little train thing. We took him on the weird, the big slide that you go down with the potato sack.
Yes.
Went on those. He hated slides in general, and then we took him on one at one of the playgrounds, and he freaking loved it. So then he wanted to go down. Yeah. So I got some sweet road rash from
battle
the slides
battle
because
damage.
I'm kind of big to go down kid slides at parks,
You
but
shouldn't talk about yourself that way. You're a thick boy.
he's too little, so I had to sacrifice my body. So
That's what dads do.
it is great though to see him do those sort of things, and a lot of travel, a lot of driving, but we made it back. And I do. I should have brought it down here so I could show it on the stream, but I left it upstairs. So I do have casualty from the trip. Sitting out there, had a lot of bush light too, by the way. A lot of bush light.
Beer of champions.
I was sitting out there on the back patio with my wife. My wife, excuse me.
There it is. There it is.
I messed up. And I think I was playing Octopath, and she said we were sleeping on these like old ass beds, very uncomfortable. And she was complaining like this, her neck was, or her shoulders were sore. And I was like, being the caring, supporting husband that I am, I was like, oh, let me rub it for you a little bit. So I set my Switch down in my lap, doing my thing, switch sides. And I think I must have just tilted just enough. I had, athletic shorts on.
I knew it. It's the mesh shorts, dude.
Very low friction surface. And that switch
zoop, flew off there like it was launched.
Onto cement below with a deafening smack. And I was just like, oh, and of course it hits and then lands face down. I have a screen protector, so lesson one: always have a screen protector. Tempered glass. Callow, he put a PSA tweet out there. I highly recommend. If you don't have one, please have one. So luckily it hit on a corner and then fell forward, so it would I don't think the screen even made contact. It would have rested on the Joy-Con.
Corner's the worst.
Thumbsticks.
Other than screen.
So I picked it up. I'm looking for any damages. I was like, oh cool. It looks fine. I start playing it. I'm like, man, this left Joy-Con feels a little weird. And then finally I look, and it hit right towards the top corner, and there's a big old split, probably about yay big, where
the seam is.
Hit, and it cracked open the seam. And I was just like, oh God, no. And it just feels like I might as well have taken it and just broken it in half over my knee. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, because you're just like, well, it's ruined. I just broke it.
It's done.
Despite the fact that you were just playing it, and it just felt a little weird.
And the Joy-Con still works fine. I was still playing it, but it just eats away. And so finally, Justice Grandpa had this fully fledged workshop. I was like, I got to be able to find something here to take care of it, because it looked like what had happened. It hit, and it pushed the plastic piece past the screw. So the screw was in there, but the housing was on top of it. So I would have to I thought I was going to take all the screws out to try to get to it, but it uses these weird screws that look like the Predator targeting system.
Are they the Y? Are they Y?
Yeah, they're the Y.
The MacBook battery uses the same screws.
That too.
Yeah.
So I knew I was
screws from the future.
I kept trying to just use my man hands and force it together. I was like, no. So finally I was like, there's got to be something I can do. So I took a t-shirt because I didn't want to damage the case anymore. Just took a pair of pliers and and then it snapped back together. So now at least there's the seam is tight again, but there is a little nick on that Joy-Con. So it's totally cosmetic, still works fine. I mean, if you're playing dock, there's no difference, but I'm just like, so now it's perfect excuse to get a new pair of Joy-Con. Get something colored,
I was gonna say, at least Joy-Cons aren't too expensive to replace.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I could replace just the left, and save some money, but then I was like,
that's kind of leftist of you.
And oddly enough, right before we left for the trip, I get this letter in the mail with this note from Mr. Skinny Matt, and here it is with a gift card. And it's like, oh yeah, here's the. I was like, wait, what? You guys, there was more coming, so I got a gift card from you guys too. I mean,
you shitbags.
Yeah, I mean, seriously,
stop
you guys
giving me stuff.
No, seriously, way too generous. I don't deserve any of that. So I mean, not only did you guys give me a game, there was more after that. So I was like, well, that's probably what it's going to go to when I want to pull the trigger. I'm gonna, and oddly enough, the Splatoon Joy-Con are cheaper than any other. I think they're $72, where everything else is $74.99 or something like that. So, I might do it, but again, no rush. But it just sucks. It sucks when anything like that happens, and then you're like, oh, I knew it. And for so long, I was going to get a comfort grip to put the Switch in.
Yeah.
That had,
and if you had it.
And I thought about ordering it and have it shipped there while we were on vacation. And if I had it,
now if you did that, would you have been made fun of, or would anyone scoff and go, "Geez, Jason can't go 5 seconds without doing something with his little Nintendo"?
No, because I'm on vacation, and I only played it when my son was napping, so it's not like I did it a whole lot.
I would be ridiculed beyond. I don't think I'd ever be able to come back from it. Actually.
Yeah, that's what happened. So I call that the fail con, and it's a disappointing thing. So, we've that's the vacation in a nutshell. Thanks for everyone. It was great to be away. I missed everybody when I was gone. I hate to miss the show at Fluxtaposed, but I had two great people step in for me. I was really hoping to be on that first episode of We Free Nintendo with Bobby, and now everyone's like, "Well, Jason's done. Bobby's back. See ya." Now,
and you never came back.
Now I'm gone for exactly. Now everyone just learns that it really was an extended vacation all along. The timing was just a face to the public. So we've put this off long enough, Lucas. It's time to talk some Netflixation. It's time to get the voices discussed.
Let me see. I just added this. Let's see which one it is.
I'm waiting in suspense.
There it is. Gosh.
No. The original Netflixation bumper.
It's Saturday Night Live with Jason Lacey.
Oh gosh, that takes me back. Good job.
Thank you.
A long time ago, we used to play that every episode. Fun facts. Netflixation. So we did a user poll quite a few weeks back. We had two choices. You guys selected The Voices, starring Mr. Ryan Reynolds as our winner. And we finally watched it. And now we're going to talk about it.
We did.
When was this? What was the year of this movie?
2014. 2001 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna. I guess should I pull up and give us what? Or do you have it up right now? Do you want to tell us what Netflix describes this movie as?
I don't have it pulled up, but I can probably attempt to. Oh, you know what? Just as an aside, talking about Netflix, while somebody pulls this up, did you notice they changed their? I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but they changed it on the TVs and stuff, where there's a bar on the left side if you scroll over, and you can finally get to your list from anywhere and get to different cool tabs and categories and stuff. Yes, it's so much better.
I haven't watched it on the TV in a bit, but they've definitely made a lot of improvements to the interface. At a time of deadly crisis, when he needs it most, he gets help from unexpected allies, or is he just losing his mind? The Voices.
Didn't really care for that description, honestly.
No.
But I think we'll get into that when we talk about how this movie goes down. Because, let me just say, I mean...
Would you say this is a dark comedy? Was that how you would...
Yeah. Well, they do list it that way, too. It wasn't super funny, but it's definitely not a drama, considering what they're showing in this. But... obviously, we want to give spoiler warnings as always, because we will be ruining this movie.
Yep. So if you haven't watched it, sorry, Kevin. We're going to talk about it. So.
Yeah. Gosh, Kevin. Jeez.
We're never going to watch Gilmore Girls, so just get off it. It's never going to happen.
That's right.
It's never happening.
I've seen enough.
I mean, we'll probably watch it, but we're never going to talk about it on Fluxtaposed.
Yes, that's true.
Out of spite.
I would never admit to having seen it in my life, because it's a terrible show.
Oh my god.
So the reason why I say, what was I gonna, man? Okay, now I forgot what I was talking about. What did you say? The reason why I said, you had said, you don't listen to anything I say anyway, so why would you know? You had said that, you said something, and I said that.
I do say things.
The Netflix description. Gosh, horrible. So the Netflix description, the reason why I don't like it is because it painted the picture to me that he was not he didn't know he had an issue, and so we kind of see that he is breaking down, but we kind of already know that he has he knows it, and we know it as an audience. So it wasn't so much of a guy who's breaking down and is like, oh my god, I'm starting to hear the voices of my animals. It was already like that for him. Like, it wasn't even it was an ordinary thing for him to hear these animals talking to him. So not really a problem with the movie at all. It's just it's almost like the person watched 20 minutes of it and then wrote the description. I guess.
Yeah.
So it set up a different feel for me than what I got from the movie.
Would you
So.
say that it would be schizophrenia that he's suffering
Oh, lots of
from?
things from what I saw. Not that I'm an expert
Well,
by any
right.
means, but yeah, definitely some sort of schizophrenia from the voices, which I don't know if that exists anymore. Actually, I think I read somewhere that that's too broad of a term nowadays. But yeah, he definitely hears voices, obviously, but he also has some other things going on, which some kind of OCD tendencies and um, bipolar mood swings type deal
Okay.
going on, which we don't
Okay.
see until a little bit later and
Yeah.
only in limited quantity. But he definitely has some mood swings for sure.
Quick and dirty plot description. Ryan Reynolds is our main character. He hears voices. It alludes that he had issues with it in the past, and he's like getting reacquainted. Like he's got a job. He's kind of easing his way back into life, being into society,
Trying to be
dealing with that.
normal.
Yeah, trying to be normal. Making the steps with therapy, but he refuses to kind of fully accept and try to treat his problem because he uses it like as a coping mechanism to not be alone. He likes these voices. Long story short, he commits a murder, and then there's more murders that take place.
Yes.
And how is this all going to end? Essentially, I mean, um,
Yeah,
very
the crux of the story is basically he accidentally commits the first murder, and
yeah,
then during that time it's kind of hidden and he tries to just go about his normal business
right. Just
acting
keep
like
being normal.
yeah, and then the last 30 minutes basically is when
It all falls apart.
all falls apart. So
Yeah.
um
How do we usually like to do this? We want to talk about what we liked about it, what we didn't like, and then
yeah,
overall, I can't remember the format. It's been so long,
it's basically that.
and I didn't copy and paste anything over from the last time.
I have some notes that I just kind of wrote as they occurred to me, just because I didn't
Yeah.
want to forget them.
Well, I can say too, like what I liked about this movie is it's very whimsical, and I think that's like how it showed. Like I really like the contrast it shows between his reality and actual reality. But like
Yes.
while he's what we see Ryan Reynolds' character perceive is everything is much better than what reality is, and there's like these butterflies that follow him around when he
Yeah.
sees his love interest. She's angelic. There's all this um decorative, just decoration, I'll say, and his living situation is much nicer. But
Yeah,
I
that's
just
what I was
like
gonna bring
there
up.
was like this element of fantasy and of whimsy, just how it's shot. And then when you see the scenes of when he's on medication and you see what actually his apartment looks like with the gore and the crap and the dinge and the muck,
He like
is
he doesn't throw his food boxes away. He collects them
yeah,
and wraps them in plastic like he would at work or something. They're just
yeah,
like lining the walls. And what's
yeah,
weird about that is that he's not like a hoarder, because like they're all stacked neatly, but they're all rotting and have food inside of them, and they're all
yes,
gross and
yes.
everything.
I
So,
really enjoyed how that played off each one another, and when
well,
we saw outside characters actually see it as it is, and not how we, the audience, are led to believe. And I almost got at times from watching this, I almost got Wes Anderson vibes from some scenes and just how things took place in the interaction.
mhm.
Um, not our stereotypical and I run away.
Right,
But
but like
but
with
there's
that
just some of the weirdness
whimsicalness.
that and the whimsy there.
That's funny because I had wrote down that it reminds me a little bit of an Edgar Wright film with
Oh,
um, Shaun of the Dead or
I can see
Hot
that too.
Fuzz. Not to that degree. Like that takes it up a level and is probably a bit more comedic than this movie is, but definitely the tone is very, like,
Yeah.
they say black comedy, but it's not. I didn't laugh out loud very much during this film, but
No, but
takes
it was
itself not
it
too
was funny.
seriously.
No, it has some funny moments. Did
Yes, it did.
did Ryan Reynolds voice the animals?
Yeah, actually, I read something that said he wasn't originally supposed to do that, but he convinced the director that since they're coming from his mind, and that's what we find out, is not just that he hears voices, but they are, in fact, different parts of his own mind telling
Yeah.
him what he thinks about himself and other parts of his life. He ended up doing the voices himself, which is weird because I thought the dog kind of sounded like all right, all right, all right, that guy.
McConaughey.
Yeah,
It's like a
Matthew
cross
McConaughey.
between McConaughey and Ernest.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
So
the cat I could definitely tell was like him with an Irish accent, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And it was a bit like the left shoulder, right shoulder, angel devil,
yes, for
type
sure.
persona. And then like, that's the thing you got to go about this movie. It almost reminds me of like Idle Hands a little bit.
Gosh,
And
I haven't
mean,
seen that in
we
forever.
had disembodied heads talking, being ever so cheerful. We had talking animals.
Yeah.
It was just like it was very abstract in that way. But I agree with everything you said. Like it's not like I'm not gonna like slap my knee. This is so funny, and I'm like gonna roll on the floor. But it just had it's the moments like that.
Kind of
And
a
it's just
weird
like
charm.
and like remember you had said in Discord, interesting plug. Join us on Discord. Just go to the website, click join us on Discord. You can join in the conversation. We have a Netflix channel there. You had said like what the I think you said what the fuck this movie, and like after the first while I was like yeah what the fuck
Yeah,
this
I
movie.
was like, this
It's
movie's
just,
insane.
like the shots like too like when he's he works in shipping and shipping and receiving, packaging at a toilet company. So they got these pink jumpsuits that are very reminiscent of like a bowling. Got like the colors there really make things stand out. Plus that backdrop of their receiving docks, their shipping docks, reminding me of Callahan Auto from Tommy Boy. It looked just like it.
Yeah.
But like that scene where like he's like kind of in an altered state, and there's the three forklifts that come in, and like in unison they're like driving around and doing all these fancy pirouettes.
Yeah. Is that
stuff.
when he was like singing the happy song and everything?
Yeah. It's just like it's definitely out there a little bit.
I wanted to go back really quick to the to when they show like when he goes off his medication and why he would rather live without it. Part of me was like, holy crap. So like every time you see him in his apartment and he's not on his medication, you can just imagine like how disgusting some of these scenes play out, like what they must really look like to somebody who's looking in from the outside.
God, yeah.
But not only that, but also I thought it was a really great way to tie in filmmaking with wrapping the story into like what you're seeing, because it's a really good like visual way of showing his character and kind of like how he perceives himself and stuff. You don't really get a lot of that because here it works as a device to tell the story of him, because he's got such a disillusionment between like who he really is compared to what everyone perceives him as, or compared to how he perceives himself, I should say. And I just thought that was cool because of course you can't always fit that into every single film, but here it really shows kind of the versatility of film when you can do something like that. And it's kind of downplayed a little bit, I feel like, which I like, because it's not the crux of the entire movie. It wasn't like this huge reveal or anything. It comes through in the middle of the movie. And I liked that because it let me think that this movie was actually darker than it probably meant to be. But just after I saw that, this whole time, all I can think of is just like, he's basically a disgusting serial killer who's kind of convinced himself that he's not.
But you don't feel like you're not appalled by him. You're like, I don't know. I found myself like rooting for him, or like,
yeah, you want him to get better.
I'm on his side, but yeah, he's like a horrible. Yeah, exactly. He's a disgusting serial killer, and I found like, I also thought that this does a good. I don't want to say. It helps shine a light, I think, with just mental illness, and like, I think it just helps like the conversation about how poorly we treat, help, deal everything above with mental illness, both as from helping people just with as a stigma that it is, how individuals that suffer from one, how comfortable they are, feel like sharing that or living with that.
one of the notes that I had too is I wonder if people. I feel like this could be a cult classic film. You know, people start watching it and they like it, and I wonder though if it's for the wrong reason, because I'm on the side that you are on, which is this movie is clearly trying to say if you try to self-medicate and do what you think is right when you clearly have an issue and just live um in, like he talks about when he's talking to his therapist about how, you know, yeah, I have some lows, but when I have those highs, it's like I'm hearing the
Right.
whispers of God, or you know, some crazy shit like that. And I think some people could see this movie and be like, yeah, like fuck taking my medication. He's right. I should be not out killing people, but I should be living life the way that you know, without medication, and this is just who I am as a person. Like I don't feel like that's the message here at all. And I do feel like it could be misconstrued that it's saying like don't take your medication or whatever, and because it's so whimsical, it's not a drama, that you could take it the wrong way. And I almost fear that some people might see it that way and be like, oh yeah, this is funny, I should stop taking my medication. It's like, no, that is not the moral of this story. He dies at the end.
He doesn't ask for help until it's like it's too
way
late.
too late.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But and I do think, like you said, the stigma with her being like, oh yeah, I'll just leave him a voicemail, I'm sure he'll get it, and then she doesn't because she thinks the love interest, she thinks he's weird and doesn't want to be alone with him.
Yeah. But it's that well, we'll talk more on that. Yeah, and I think just to sum that up, well, no, I'll save that for more. That's more of a in-summation statement. Let's talk about some of the things we talked about the positive. Let's talk a little bit on the negative side. The one thing I'll have to say is, and unfortunately, I had to because I couldn't watch it while I was on vacation. I was a guest on, shameless plug, I was a guest on Nintendo Nostalgia this week. We recorded that last night. I didn't have any chance to watch this until today. And then when I finally did take a chance,
3 weeks after we,
yeah, but we've much like you, if you watch it too soon,
I know
it is gonna fade from memory. So
like if I watch something on Wednesday, I almost forget to add it to my what you playing list. You know, let alone remember how to talk about it. So definitely. It is true.
So I had to, scrunch it in during my lunch break today and then finish it. And then, of course, Netflix wasn't working on the web, so I had to watch it on my phone, propped up on my desk, and I had glare.
That's a great way to experience a movie.
Yeah, but then to finish it, I was like, I was working too. But at the same time, I don't feel like I missed really anything by doing that. Like, just by listening to the movie, and I guess maybe that could be a plus too, but I feel like some of the beats in between some major sequences weren't really vital to me understanding, and maybe there's some stuff I couldn't visually see well. Like, I definitely know I couldn't see his apartment that well when it was showed in reality. You can see that he's got body parts and all these containers stacked around the rooms, and just
that probably would have been really dark on the phone and shiny.
Yeah, so there's some stuff like that, but I think that's some of the bad part, because I feel like even though I wasn't able to give it 100% of my attention, I still got a pretty, I don't know, I guess that goes both ways. I still feel like I understood everything that was going on.
I was gonna say, I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, because I still enjoyed it, but I feel like at the same time I was also able to not pay attention to a lot of this, and it was just like, okay, like Anna Kendrick's character was just kind of like weird, how she's like not at first she's not vital, but then she just like kind of gets thrown in there to being important, but then she's dead, and then she's like gone again. I don't know. Like, this is very much a solo effort based on Ryan Reynolds. I really enjoy Ryan Reynolds. PSA, I think we need to have a Ryan Reynolds, Paul Rudd buddy comedy of some sort. I think.
Yes.
I mean, how great would that be?
Or just both of them shirtless. What? I didn't say that. No, I'm just kidding.
So I don't know. Like, there's some things that I thought kind of dragged a little bit, but I mean, honestly, and I'm surprised, I didn't think this way going into it, there's not too much I didn't really like. I mean, I'd have to say there'd be some nitpicks, but I mean, overall, I feel I was pretty surprisingly positive towards this film.
I agree. actually. I was wondering how you would think about it because I know black comedies can be hit or miss for just about anyone. I
Yeah.
think of Tusk as a real miss for me.
Hey, it's back on Netflix. Now's my
I know.
chance.
Maybe I should watch it. I did take my wife with me, and she thought it was horrible, and that can sometimes taint the experience. One for better or worse. It just kind of depends. But I don't
Also,
think that I will
Ex
change my
Machina
mind.
is on Netflix. If you haven't watched that, you people need to. That's really good.
That is a good flick.
And it's actually a Star Wars prequel.
Gosh, you wish. So I honestly don't have a lot of negativity to say about this movie, and I was not expecting that. I didn't have low expectations going in. I just didn't. I don't know. I just
Even
never heard of this movie, so I just kind of assumed
no.
that I would have something bad to say about it. I genuinely liked this movie a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say that I was just, we have movies on here a lot where I'm just like, I don't know what to say about it, good or bad. I thought there was I just have to go back to some of the notes that I haven't said. I thought that the direction was interesting. There were camera movements where like he goes into his fridge and they pull out of the fridge as he's closing the door and stuff like that. Or when she gets dropped off at her car and it's like this profile shot and it looks really nice. The lighting was good and the color really popped for me. So it didn't just look like every movie that is about, something so grim like this. They could have easily just made it super desaturated and dark and serious or whatever, and they didn't. And the sound design, you probably missed did you listen with headphones or were you hearing it over your phone?
I had earbuds. Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed this, but the sound design was freaking. I won't say amazing because it's very obvious. But anytime like he's eating something, like when he shoves that pizza in his mouth, or his cats and stuff are eating, I imagine it must be the way he hears the world to a certain degree. It was definitely gross, and the music was an interesting mix of like in-house created for the movie, like the happy song, which
Oh, hey, speaking of music, how cool was that one studio intro at the very beginning of the movie that was all like synth heavy?
I thought it was
retro futurism, and then it was.
I thought it was part of the movie, and it was gonna pull out from like an arcade cabinet or something.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was really cool. I was like, Fluxtaposed? What's going on?
We're such suckers for ourselves.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I had a sucking joke there, but I couldn't put two and two together, unfortunately. So all that said, I don't know. I won't say it's my favorite movie ever, but it definitely surprised me. I would give this probably like a 4 stars, easy 3.5.
Oh yeah. I mean, let's just go into our
summary.
Final thought. Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead and just do your final thoughts.
Yeah, I was just surprised by this film, and I think it's different enough from what I've seen, anyways. As far as like a non-major released movie, it's not self-indulgent, which is usually my number one critique of like what I would say is an indie movie or whatever. It doesn't feel like an indie movie, and Ryan Reynolds does a surprisingly good job making me believe that he's a character who's suffered. Like he has a lot of ups and downs in this movie. He goes from like crying with Anna Kendrick about his mother that he had to kill to
we didn't even talk about that, like how that whole side of that backstory and everything,
well,
too. That creepy sock puppet thing.
Oh gosh, yeah, and his abusive dad. Yeah, like I don't know, the best way I can describe it is probably Dexter meets an Edgar Wright film of some sort. I really think people should check this out. I don't think it's for everyone, but if you like dark comedy movies, especially, it's not heavy on the comedy, but it is good as a story. And I don't know. I recommend it strongly. I do. I think it was good. Sorry if you don't. Fight me.
Come at me, bruh. I just to say, I walked in not expecting to think too much of this movie and never heard of, like you said, I hadn't heard of it. I didn't know if it'd be my cup of tea, and you know what? I walked away going, wow, you know what? That was I don't know, not fun, but I mean, it was a good movie. You know, I enjoyed it. I liked the angles it took. I liked the direction it took, and by the end, I was like, you know what? It's weird, but I get it, and I like it. So
It had something to say too, which I can appreciate.
yeah,
Sometimes you just watch something and you're like, well, that happened.
exactly. So there we go. That was the voices. I think we'll keep this going. I think next week we'll come back. We'll offer 2 movies. We'll put them out there to poll on Twitter. Once again, we'll have you guys select one, and we'll just keep doing this. I kind of like sometimes it's fun to pick something when there's something we both like want to watch that's kind of important. But I like to throw options out there for people.
Yeah,
So,
I do too.
it's always fun. So we'll keep doing that moving forward. So thank you guys I know it was a long time to get to this one. Hope you had a chance to watch it, or maybe if you, even though we talked about the whole plot, maybe you decide to jump into it and check it out anyway. And that's great. With that said, I think it's time to take a little break from some OC remix. I have to say, I liked last week's OC remix. I wasn't sure I was going to, but it was all right.
It was
kind of all right.
It was
Yeah.
It was like that reggae type deal, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
No, it was like an EDM.
Oh,
It was like
yeah,
EDM,
yeah.
but
Right.
it wasn't too like in your face EDM. For those uninitiated and unfamiliar, we like to feature one of the most recent mixes from Overclock Remix, ocremix.org. Great website of ours that Mr. Dan Anthony, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but awesome friend of the show. He's a patron of the show, and he's been a supporter of us since practically day one. Always much love. Thank you, Dan. He also looks so damn hot in that Fluxtaposed t-shirt. He had a great suggestion for a future episode that's going to dig more into our side of OC Remix and our affiliation and our love of that. So look for that in the future. But we like to randomly select a mix, and we play it here on the show for hopefully your enjoyment and for a chance for us to just step away, use the potty, and anything else that might be going on during the streaming and the recording process. Lucas has a patent. I don't know if the patent's still pending. We might be patented now.
Have you seen the patent office? That place is still going through things from the 80s, probably.
Ooh, well, we have this sweet randomizer wheel that helps us select this remix each week. 9 times out of 10, it's Castlevania, but that's
maybe this time it'll be different.
You like Castlevania? I need to finish that on Netflix, by the way. We have to reference Metal Gear Awesome every week. It's pretty much
what the hell is going on.
You remember Kevin wrote up the rules of Fluxtaposed a couple years back, and I'm not sure if that's in there, but it needs to be in there. Please, if you haven't yet, go back.
Note to self: add that into the rule book.
Go back and watch. Go back and watch Metal Gear Awesome. It's the best. Yes, Ribo! Exclamation point rigged. It's the greatest thing. So it's how I know you as my friend. What do we got, Lucas? Let's do it.
It's at Dragon Warrior 7, Deeper in the Heart.
Wow, Dragon Warrior. Wow, I'm
7,
very excited.
Dragon Warrior. Oh my god. If I remember correctly,
6 was good, but 7 was even better.
7 is pretty far up the list, isn't it?
Year 2000. In the year 2000.
Oh.
In the year 2000. Oh, Conan O'Brien. I used to watch you all the time, and now I never do. Let's just go with it. As Lucas said, our remix tonight is Dragon Warrior 7 called Deeper in the Heart. It is by Blue Lighter, Arvangoth, Chris, Amaterasu, and Katamari. Those are our remixers. It's the ranging of 2 songs, Days of Sadness and With Sadness in the Heart. It's from Dragon Warrior 7 by Enix, not Square Enix, just Enix, and the year 2000 for the PlayStation 1.
Is it Enix or Enix?
I guess it is Enix, Square Enix.
You freaking...
Maybe that's a dialect from what side of the Atlantic you're on.
Tomato.
Enix, NX, tomato, Akuna Matata. Potato, patata. My mother, my father, una, manana. I can do this all day.
Until you run out of things to rhyme anyways.
Just like Captain America, I can do this all day.
I can dance all day. I can dance all day.
You've got the rhythm of the beat because you remind me of the Babe. How's your dance magic?
Feel it.
Do you have jump magic? Put that
I have Orlando
spell
magic.
On you. All you got to do is... How about Orlando Bloom?
No, that's where I draw the line.
Oh, there's, I haven't listened to the podcast in a while, but Macaulay Culkin has a podcast, and they play this game where it's like they use like the chess timers, and it can be any. I don't remember. They have to pick a subject or whatever, but then you just say, like, if I would say Natalie Portman, and then you would say something from a movie that connected that to it, and then you just go back and forth and names.
Does it have to rhyme or just wait? Is it
no?
name
It has
game?
to be. It's no. It's associated.
Okay, so I would
And
say
you can't
midriff
repeat.
White. Okay, I'd say midriff white. Long.
Well, no,
sleeve.
you can't. You had to say it had to be a person. You had to talk.
That's
like
why I
like
just
an,
said
or
it had to
movie.
be. Does it have to be a person? Okay,
oh,
Star
sorry.
Wars 1, Phantom, or no, Star Wars 2, Phantom, not Menace.
Yeah,
Star Wars 2, Dennis the Menace.
That's what we were doing. That's what it reminded me of. That was my point here. But with that said, we're gonna play this remix. I'm sure you're ready by now because I ate up so much.
That
time.
actually helped a lot. So if anyone's wondering,
we're gonna step away. We're gonna play this remix, and we'll come back with some What You Plan. A little. It's gonna be called the Dan Anthony grab bag. And then we'll end the show. So stick around. Again, this is Deeper in the Heart. It's from OC Remix. And if you like this, there's many more remixes you can find at ocremix.org. So I'm going to play it, and we'll be back. And we're back. That was OC Remix. I feel like I was in that tavern again, just hanging out, sitting in the corner, sipping on some sister up, you know.
Sipping on
Doing,
gin and juice, laid
ooh.
back with my gold on my money, mind and my mind.
With my gold and my money.
And
uh
that's the only reason why I'm not a rapper.
that's right. Thank you, OC Remix. Now, Lucas, it's probably the time that the people really came for. It's the best segment of Fluxtaposed. What you plan?
Heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
Turtle power.
I almost said,
Cowabunga.
I almost said heroes in a half shell, Ninja Turtles.
You know, it just
What a
happened to
dumbass.
when I was when I was brushing up on Turtles in Time, because that was the game we talked about, Nintendo Nostalgia. I was just watching some Let's Plays of it, and I happened to go on the James and Mike play from Cinemassacre.
Oh,
James
yeah.
Rolfe and Mike Mattai, they were playing it, and he did one of them did the classic, which I always remember doing as a kid. Remember when you killed the boss and they like walked and then they would you could move around the screen as they like charged up before they exploded, and you'd always
Yeah.
try to time the drop kick just
Yes.
as it
Just as it exploded, so you felt like
to
a
make
real
it look like,
badass.
so it made it look like you kicked it just as it as it happened.
The thing I remember from that game is, and I think it's that one, is when you get your. I don't remember how it happens, but your character will go, my toe, my toe.
Yes, yep. You get hit a lot in the sewer level if you get hit like a spike or something, but anytime like a flame or something like that, yeah. Yep, that's in there.
My toe, my toe.
My toe. Lucas, I have
Yeah.
to I think I gotta go first here because
That's cool.
I feel like it wasn't quite shade, but there was a little shadow thrown my way a little bit with my overflowing verbal diarrhea about paladins. Paladins.
Paladins.
You know, paladin is my
Clear it
favorite
up.
class, and when I am a paladin, I like to carry around a treasure in my heraldic cube.
That was a bad time to take a drink. Take a drink.
But no, it's true. I have talked about paladins a lot, but here's the thing. People and Kevin was like, well, it's not Overwatch. It's not as good as Overwatch. And that's probably true. It's probably maybe not as good as Overwatch.
I think it's better.
I don't think it's trying to be Overwatch, and I think it does. I mean, yes, there's skills and some characters that are very derivative of their Overwatch counterparts. However, I could play Overwatch. And yes, I'm playing on the lesser hardware of the Switch, but on the Switch, I can play with you. I can play with Tom Servo. I can play with Rybo. I can play with Kevin. I can play with all these people. Overwatch, I can play with you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And
This
you don't want to
opens
play
it
with
up
me
to-
on that game.
No, this just opens it up to a large community of people that I think I just have so much more I have more fun playing games with, you know? Not to say that I don't have fun playing the games with you, but it's fun to play with you and other people, you know? And that's what I want. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I haven't played it's fun to play like a competitive, I guess I'm going to say the term competitive FPS on the Switch, and I've
Mhm.
just had fun with it. I think like it is very, it's very Warcraftian a bit in its art style.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
get more of a because I feel like the textures and stuff are just a
Yeah.
step down.
Oh wow, Ribo has it on PC too. Well, there you go. But I just
You could be
I don't know.
playing with
I enjoy it. I don't know what it is about it. And I think while I could pay the money to like unlock all the champions, there is a bit of a carrot on the stick for me to like earn the in-game gold to unlock my next champ. Which one am I going to unlock? Am I going to get a front line? Am I going to get a
Well,
support? Am I going to get a damage? Am I going to get a flank?
And
You know?
because you unlock or because you level up specific characters to unlock things, I feel like I'm better off just sticking with the character anyway. So the idea of just unlocking all of them doesn't really appeal to me anyway, because instead of going through a list of 30 paladins or whatever and then trying to find one that fits me, or 4 or whatever, I can just start with the set they give you and then maybe try the ones that are free to try at that time or whatever, and either get used to them and actually spend time with them, or just go, yep, that's totally not for me. And then by the time I've accrued enough money, I probably can unlock a new character in that class.
Yeah.
and be able to excel there, or at least not do as terrible.
Right. And it's totally true what you guys had said. Like, um, I, oh gosh, what was the point I was going to make now? I had played at Paladins, I think last year on PC with Justin Nimmel and some friends, and I was like, it was cool, but like the whole concept of having to buy your skit, like buy those talents during the
Mm-hmm.
match, kind of was overwhelming to me, and it just like I didn't get it, and I think at the time I was like, well, this is just dumbed down Overwatch, and it wasn't. I didn't like feel interest to it, and now I don't know what it is. I'm just like now I don't feel that. Now I'm like I love this game and I'm playing it a bunch. I guess it's the same way like Kevin said, never touched Fortnite. Then it was on the Switch. Like, well, I guess we're gonna try Fortnite now. I don't know why that is. I don't know what it is about Nintendo why that connection is, but I don't know. I've had it's free to play, so that immediately makes it appealing. So
Yeah.
you can immediately play with anybody, and it's just been a fun experience for me. I just have fun playing it. Again, it's like this made me put down Octopath. You know, I put Octopath to the side.
Wow.
This is distracting me from my Octopath progress because I've gotten stuck in that multiplayer hook loop that I do, much like what happened with every other game I've ever played. Like, it very much reminds me what happens when I would play Osmouts all the time. It's that same kind of feeling to me.
You get that pull. See, and that's where that's, it's funny that you say that because for me, I tend to want to play that game because you had said that you guys were playing that one night and I should have joined you. And what I realized when you said that was I kind of feel like playing that game during the day, but then at night, I kind of just want to play a single player game where I don't feel like I have to perform very well.
Yeah, you're playing Game of Thrones. I mean, what the?
Spoilers! I was going to talk about that, you asshole. Oh, you're such an asshole. Kind of turned into a really stereotypical.
Oh,
you're such an asshole.
Yeah. I'm so lonely.
Yeah.
So
see, I was just being
lonely.
that was it. I wasn't making
You were
fun of,
Kim Jong Un.
Yes, exactly. I wasn't making
Kim
fun of
Jong-il.
anybody of any creed, origin, nation. Assassin's
So
Creed.
yeah, so that's Paladins in a nutshell. I got back into reading the novel, while I was up north.
I was wondering if you were reading or watching.
Well, I had originally I started reading this on my vacation, the same vacation last year, in hopes to read it before the movie, and that obviously didn't happen. So I think, well, okay, I need to finish this, and I've got like 200 pages left. It's like 1,400 pages. I got like 200 left, so I'm almost done with it.
You could read 3 Bibles by now. 3 War and Pieces.
And it kind of it jumps back and forth between the story in the 80s and then the story back in the 50s. And I think they both come to their climax simultaneously. So I'm finally getting to that point where, spoiler, if you haven't read a book from the 80s or seen the TV film or seen the new movie,
Read a freaking book.
Where the kids are confronting Pennywise or it, and then the adults are as well. So I'm getting to that in both storylines. So it's finally like really, it's picking up speed quickly.
You know what I want? You know what I want? I don't know why I want this, but it just occurred to me for some reason, and maybe somebody else out there would want it too. I want a poster of the kids on one side lined up like Final Fantasy characters, and then on the other side is Pennywise the clown, like a boss with like sprites and everything. I don't know why I want that, but I do. Or maybe Earthbound, except for you don't get to see the characters, unfortunately.
Oh God. Oh boy.
Crossover.
So there's that. Hopefully we'll get that finished, because there's been some other stuff I want to read, or some graphic novels, or some other things I wanted to jump into, and I haven't, because I've been waiting to finish that. And then Octopath, of course. I think I've put.
So why are you stuck? Oh, sorry. How much time have you put into it, and then why are you stuck?
On what, Octopath?
Yeah, that's where you were going to say that, and I rudely.
Yeah, I think I've put under. I haven't eclipsed 30 hours yet.
Okay. That's about the time I start feeling like the game is getting a little long. Any game.
Oh, I don't feel like that. Like well, that's the crazy thing. I'm at that point, and I haven't even finished the chapter 2 storylines for each character. I think I'm maybe halfway through my 8 party members. I'm at like half. I've done like 4 of them. And then at
Wow.
that point too, it's like, okay, then I got to go and get. I'm probably gonna go and get some more of the jobs, the job classes I haven't unlocked yet. Maybe go back and try to do some of the side quests. Maybe go back and do some of the optional dungeons. So I'm not a rush at all. I only had stopped playing because I got distracted by paladins. I mean,
Oh,
that's the
okay.
only
I
thing.
thought were you stuck? Sorry, did you say why you were stuck?
Oh, I'm not stuck with the game at all.
Oh, I thought you said you got stuck in Overwatch when you were talking about Paladin. Or, jeez, I thought you said you were stuck in Octopath, and that's why you switched over
Oh,
to
I think
Paladins.
I got stopped.
Oh, stabbed. Okay.
Yeah, because it's that Octopath was all I wanted to play, but now I've got something else. It's like, oh, come look at me. I'm new. I'm shiny. I'm
I'm
fun.
learning. I see. I'm learning that usually it goes well if I just play the thing I want to play instead of forcing myself to play the thing that I think I should be finishing. So I don't. I can't
Yeah,
blame you at all for doing that.
yeah. Well, I also want to like, I don't want to rush Octopath because it's a lot of game. I don't want to like
Burnout and
yeah. I don't want to like try to like force my way through it to get through the story, and I really want to make that game last well into, if I can make it push that as far as I can get into Smash release. I mean, that's what I want to do. So I'm just enjoying the ride, taking it slow. And I did buy I got Overcooked 2 purchased. So
yeah.
I can't wait to play that with anyone that wants to play that. Hit me up, yourself included, Lucas. I can't wait to stream it.
I'm
It's gonna be a
hoping to
great
get
game
it
to
this
play with
weekend.
the perfect. It's gonna be a great game to play with the community. Donnie has it. I know we're probably looking to do some PSVG / Make Us Better stuff, but I'd love to play with anyone that listens to Fluxtaposed, anyone that knows Lucas and I. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a horrible
Chop those,
lesson.
chop those
Why
mother
we?
effing onions.
That's right.
Get out of my
It's
effing way.
it's fucking raw. So that's what I've been playing.
Nice. Nice. Well, I'm about to talk about a whole bunch of new stuff finally because I've been
Ooh.
saving a lot of this actually. Well, not my movie, but I'll start with my movie first, actually. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. We have got fun and games. I watched this, and I've been wanting to. My original plan was to catch it in theaters before it left, but it never ended up. That never ended up happening. And I had heard it was pretty funny. I heard it was better than a lot of people expected. And then I started to, because I listened to the Podquisition with Jim Sterling every once in a while.
Ooh.
And
Thank God for me.
yes, and it every once in a while it'll autoplay into, because it's released on the same feed, into the movie review show that he does with, I can't remember his name, but they were talking about, or no, I think he was talking about this movie inside of the regular Podquisition, that for some reason. And he was saying that it actually makes more gamer references that actually hit as comedy than most typically would, because most Hollywood writers or whatever think they're being cool or know what they're talking about, but don't actually land with that particular audience. And so he was surprised that the humor actually kind of rang true from a gamer perspective. So I was like, okay, I'm curious to see this now because I want to see for myself if that's true. So I ended up watching it through. I did a trial through Stars because it was on there, and I ain't gonna pay for that shit. And so I watched it, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. It is a big dumb action movie that is it's fun, it's funny. I thought that because all of the, what you would say, professional actors or all the adults have to play as if they're the kids, right? And so surprisingly,
Right.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does a good job of basically feeling like he's this kid who has a lot of self-esteem issues and stuff like that. So I thought that from that perspective too, they did a good job. And then just like the jokes about NPCs and video game humor all landed pretty well. And I thought it was an enjoyable romp through the jungle. And I laughed a couple times. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I did. The film student in me makes me feel like I shouldn't like this movie and that I'll get crap for it. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was just a big dumb blockbuster that actually turned out to be fairly decent.
That's like the moments I dread about when we film Battle of the Beer is when anytime a movie comes up into conversation, because it's like, A, I'm probably not going to go see the movie, and then B, it's like I'm there with you went to film school, Mike went to film school, Chad went to film school, Seth very big into movies and everything, and I'm just like.
But you have me as a lifeline because they all watch movies together, and I don't know half of what they're talking about either. So
I'm like, I like poop jokes.
Shut up! You're stupid. Why would you like that movie? Clearly, you didn't go to film school, idiot.
You don't know about camera angles and lighting and mood and theme.
Chiaroscuro and
fucking noob.
The 50 Faces of the Hero's Journey or whatever the hell. I don't even remember. Thank God.
Hey, I think we can all agree on. I think we can all agree on one thing.
Yeah.
Worst movie ever. He never died.
He never did die. I wish he would have. It'd have been a lot shorter.
He would have.
So yeah, Jumanji.
That's cool. That's cool to hear because when I think you'd enjoy movie, it. I'm just like yeah. But
this one's fun. This one's fun. I think you should try and catch it if you can. I think you would enjoy it.
Oh, that's a movie with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Catch it if you can.
Yeah.
Sorry,
bad joke.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm used to it from you. And so, Game of Thrones, the games I've been playing, since you already freaking ruined it for me. That does happen. That does happen in there. They do a
Sorry.
It's okay.
I was like, oh no, his stream froze again.
Just kidding. I know with my awesome acting you thought I disconnected.
I did.
I didn't. They do a pretty good job of recreating that, although because it's Telltale and they refuse to update their graphics engine for 10 years.
I think that's finally happening though.
Yes, I saw that and I'm so happy. Because honestly, just playing any of these games, because they are so scene based, it's like they could make this look really amazing and not have to worry too much about the performance side of things, because there's never really that much going on. It's all encapsulated in typical camera moves that you would see in a movie, not so much a video game. And my God, they need to. I don't even care if they update the graphics. If they update the animation system, that would be great, because people just do not move that way. So Game of Thrones, I didn't really care about. I've actually almost have this done. I just started the 6th episode, which is the last episode, and I didn't care about this for 2 episodes, really. It was okay. I just didn't really have a pull like I do with watching the show, for instance. And so I set it aside and was kind of never planning on really talking about it again. But then I finished, what was I playing on PC that I finished recently? Mafia 3. I finished Mafia 3 and I was like, you know what? I have this on my playing list, because I kind of separate my games into what I'm actually playing right now, like what I've gotten 4 hours into and should probably finish, as compared to like all my other games that I just have in my list. So I'm like, I should just finish this, because these aren't typically very long and I can get through 6 episodes pretty quickly, I would think. So I hopped back into it, and I gotta say, I started getting into this story, man. Like,
oh man,
it's interesting coming back from, because this is around the time that, well, spoilers for Game of Thrones. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones, you really should. And if you don't want it spoiled for you, you should definitely skip ahead, because I'm about to reveal a huge thing. So it takes place after the Red Wedding, and then into when what's his name is poisoned, Joffrey. Like that happens in about the 3rd episode. So that you're clearly going back in time if you're at all caught up with Game of Thrones. And so it's interesting to go back and kind of know what you know now and be able to say, well, this has to happen, because there's no way that these people can be around I guess they just ignore them or whatever. So because you're talking to Queen Cersei, for instance, so you're not going to kill her or something like that. So
Yeah.
from that aspect, it's interesting, but it's also some of those characters like um, uh, Ramsay Bolton is here, and he's a dick as ever, and you're forced to make those. I love that gif of him holding the sausage. He's they of course in telltale fashion you're asked to make some important decisions, and so that's perfect for Game of Thrones, where characters are dying left and right, and just as you're getting attached to them, you are forced to let them go. And there's some pretty surprising things that happen in this game where I'm just like, oh shit. Now I didn't have misty eyes like I did for The Walking Dead when what's his name has to give a basically sacrifice himself, but I got close. There definitely were a couple times where I'm just like, it's okay. It's okay. Pull it back together.
Telltale, it's like, I remember when they at first were like announced as a studio, and it was like, listed that it was some former LucasArts employees and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is right up my alley. And then they had, the Strong Bad game for cool party people or whatever. They had a Wallace and Gromit game. They had, I think Bone was one of their first games, and they had Sam and Max. They had these licenses that I really like, especially Sam and Max. And then we got Walking Dead, which is, I don't know if I'll ever finish that series. And then the other things that they had announced, like The Wolf Among Us.
I love The Wolf Among Us. They need to work on that, not
Batman, Game of Thrones. What was the other one? Guardians of the Galaxy.
There was a Jurassic
all these
Park
properties.
one.
Yeah, all these properties I really like, but I just don't.
Borderlands.
I don't play any of them. I don't know why that is. I feel
Which
like
is weird
I think what you said. I think they really, once they get the new, I think they are working on it finally, a new engine. And once they get that, because I think even though their games are all Back to the Future is when I played. Even though all their games are different worlds and different properties, they all like look and feel the same because of that engine.
Yeah. This one,
it's very limiting.
At least with Game of Thrones, for better or worse, it has like a water painting feel. So even though the characters kind of look similar, the backdrops and everything look a little bit different. Now, I'm playing this in 4K now, and I have to say it definitely looks it looks ultimately superior, because for some reason they decided that because they went with the watercolor feel that it should have like jaggy edges and stuff with the textures and the color. That doesn't really jive well when you also have jagged edges from like 1080p. And as we know, these games don't allow you to really control your anti-aliasing or anything like that to smooth out the edges. So it definitely helps to upscale the resolution a bit, but then you still have those cartoony textures that don't really look that great. And the animation, my God, can we talk? The animation is so wooden and creepy. They look like marionettes sometimes. The way they'll be walking, but they're also like sliding across the floor. It just, I don't know. God. There's just some real awful things going on there. But I'm planning on beating the rest of it this week, and I probably won't talk about it again because it's just a story. Like, basically, I'd just be like, so this is how it ended. But I am glad, because I was looking forward to this when I was more into Game of Thrones, that I'm glad that it kind of picked up the pace and things started happening that I cared about the characters more. And so I'm just curious to see if I'll be happy with the ending, basically. And then the last thing I played, which I'm going back and playing again because I played this on the 360 originally and beat it, is Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Ooh, Deus Ex. A game, still a series I've never played.
Though not one of them?
I've played like Human Revolution. Like that's the one from like our LAN days, right? Human Revolution. Or no, Mankind Divided. I think Mankind Divided.
That's the new one. That's the new one.
That isn't okay.
You're thinking of Deus Ex Invisible... The Invisible or something?
That might be it. I think I played like a small handful
Invisible
of that
War.
back. Yeah, okay. I played like a small handful of that back in the day, but I've never played one. Like the one that came out, Human Revolution.
Human Revolution,
Mankind Divided.
and then Mankind Divided is the
Mankind
next one.
Divided. Like I got a lot of, especially even on the Wii U, told me how well it played. So I thought about it, but I never did.
Well, and that's why I have the game thanks to Humbly Bumbly, and so, and I liked Human Revolution, but I'll tell you one thing, I can't remember a damn thing about what I did in that game. I couldn't tell you what happened or how the game ended or anything. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go from one to the other, and this is just the way my broken brain works, I can't just like go into the story and just enjoy it. I'm like, no, I got to play this other one because I have it and I didn't play it, and I can't just have a game on my computer that I didn't play and beat. So I'm going to go back and play Human Revolution. So I did. Now this is the director's cut though, and I didn't know what the differences were, but I guess the game has been reworked a little bit. But the biggest change that most people are talking about is, do you remember this game looking like gold everywhere? It was very yellow, very gold, and shiny. I don't want to say shiny, but like lots of neon lights everywhere. But instead of them being neon, they're yellow. That's all been removed in the director's cut. It was like a filter that caused a kind of yellow haze over everything, and they removed
Yellow
that.
haze in my brain.
They removed that, and honestly, I could really care less. But some people hate it, some people don't. Whatever. But I'll tell you one thing: this game has some good music. The gameplay is a little jankety, and I imagine trying to go back from the newer one to this one would be very difficult. So right now, I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it, and then I plan on going on to Mankind Divided because I heard it was pretty good. So that's the kind of plan right now. But I've got a long ways to go, so I'm sure I'll probably talk about it more in the coming weeks.
Okay, excellent. I like it. It's a series that I haven't played ever, and
I wanted more Cyberpunk in my life, and that's about the only way I could get it until Cyberpunk 2077, 66, 33, 44. I don't know. 20XX.
I got that. What was that? It's like that one adventure game, like the Red something Cafe, or remember we were talking about? Like,
oh yeah, it was on Twitch. For
Twitch Prime
unlocking or whatever.
Got it for free, so not quite Cyberpunk, but at least that
kind of that feel though.
Similar feel. Well, let's do the grab bag, sponsored by Dan Anthony, and get the hell out of here. Dan, once again, he never fails to deliver with quality content, and he hit us up on Twitter. This was last week. Happy Friday morning. This came across my feed today, and this is from, as always, some random news site. Breaking news: about 100 goats are on the loose right now in a Boise neighborhood. They are going house to house, eating everything in sight. Nobody has a clue where they came from. Updates to follow.
Wow.
Denny Loose. I need to know what's going on in Idaho. What did you do?
That's kind of amazing that nobody knows where they came from, and I would have to think that you would be like, okay, it's 100 goats. Like when I read 100 goats, I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of goats or whatever. But that actually would be a hell of a lot of goats to just be randomly running around a neighborhood eating trash. And
it's actually, if you go to this guy who reported it,
that's what I'm looking at some pictures right now.
It's his pinned tweet, so it's right up there. I'm looking to see if we can get. Oh, party is over, kids. Loose goats have been cornered and loaded back onto a truck owned by We Rent Goats.
We rent goats. What the hell? How do you rent a goat for petting? I guess.
Yeah, parties and stuff like that. I'm sure petting, zoo stuff. Or maybe you want them to come and chew up your overgrown lawn. Maybe you can do that too.
Hey, if I've learned from Curious George, they can eat poison ivy, clear out poison ivy for you.
Yeah, they have a very, very powerful digestive system, I'm sure.
Which is not great for this neighborhood because they came and ate my prized begonias and my hops. My hops are growing in my backyard to make my beers.
Oh boy. So
you love
I think that's it. I think that's a show.
You think that's a show?
I think that's a show.
I'll tell you what it's a show. Damn it.
If you haven't already, please check out. Lucas was on an episode of Growing Up Gaming.
Thank you. Yes.
Week,
see,
hosted by Mitch Power.
I blasted it on the Twitter web when it came out, but it was just after we recorded, and I meant to talk about
you
it.
Missed it.
But I just completely forgot.
And then you realize between the two of us, we have like a reach of like 6 followers. So
yeah, like promising somebody that I'll shout it out.
I'll retweet it.
Yeah,
I'll give it a like.
It's the same 6 people that probably already listened to his podcast anyway. So it was an enjoyable time. My best way to describe it was the way I'd retweeted it was basically listen to some Midwestern boys talking about the Midwest and growing up in the Midwest. So
that sounds hot to me. Can't wait. I can't wait. Buy Overcooked 2 so you can play with me. Check me out on the Nintendo Shack when I show up. So like never. Also on If We're in Nintendo Friday nights at 10:30. Check out patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. We've been doing this show. We'd love to have you. Maybe if you'd like this, throw us some Skrilla your way. We do some giveaways every once in a while. We'd love to have your support.
We even have like some plans if we ever make enough money to expand the show. Right. Dear God, we're dreading the day that ever happens. That means we got to do more.
Hope it never comes. And
that's what she said.
Hey, I'm toying with the idea. I'm trying to hit Twitch affiliate. So I need some people to watch some streams. So
I noticed you've been streaming more.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that and help me on my journey. But that out of the way, thank you to all of our patrons, but special thanks to our Arbiters of Awesomeness, Kevin Austin, Kyle Heyman, Edwin Calla, Tyler Rowland, Tom Servo, and our Executors of Excellence, Josh Bourboni, Dan Anthony, Sarah Renee. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all out there in internet land. We appreciate you listening, watching, sharing. Hey, give us a review on iTunes. It helps us in ways we don't know. And Lucas, thank you for being beautiful, man. Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome. That's just how I do. It's natural. # no filter.
Hope you feel better. Rybo, thanks for being awesome. And everyone else, except Adam Leonard. Not you. Not you, Adam. Just kidding. Love you, man. We'll be back next week. More Fluxtaposed. See ya.
Wow.
To get to him. Great warrior. Yoda. You speak Yoda. I'm not gonna keep going.
Are you done?
Stop me.